Hey everyone, welcome to week 6. Just wanted to go over a short video to go over your week 5 quiz questions. Good job on the quiz. I've got to click back here. You had 18.58 out of 20 on the quiz, so good work. And I just wanted to go over the top 3 questions, well, the only 3 questions that were answered incorrectly. So I just want to go over those in a little bit of detail, so you got a bit of feedback on those questions. So same thing as last week. Hopefully folks found that a little more interesting and informative than simply just reading over my little blurb in the classroom. So first question is, and of course the top of this got cut off, so let me zip out here quick. So the first question is, what does the what does the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act of 2010 require not-for-profit hospitals to do regarding charges? So this is an interesting question in itself. Um, the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act of 2010, also known as the Affordable Care Act or the ACA, has lots of components, and probably the biggest component and what we're looking at, what we're talking about here, is with regard to financial assistance. So our answer in this case is that we need to limit charges to patients who are eligible for assistance. There is one answer on here with regard to allowing patients to view a list of their charges, and nobody chose that one. So, so that was, I might have given you credit for that. There is, as we've talked about pretty extensively, there are some requirements for price transparency now under the ACA. So I might have given you credit for that had folks chosen that, but unfortunately there was not anybody that had chosen that. But so the answer in this case is that we need to limit charges to patients who are eligible for assistance. And what we're getting at there is the requirement for not-for-profit hospitals to have financial assistance programs. So they are required to have a financial assistance program. Program needs to be detailed. It's typically based on your financial needs. So if you make a certain amount of money and maybe you're uninsured, you make too much money for perhaps the Medicaid program, but you are struggling in some way. Maybe you're on one of the health exchanges, but those health exchanges sometimes do not provide a great deal of coverage. Or maybe you are uninsured. Maybe you choose not to participate in the health exchange and forego it and just take the penalty, the tax penalty. If that's the case, these programs will take a look at your overall income and take a percentage off of your bill, typically. And then the financial counselors at the hospitals will work with you to determine how much is owed and typically work out a payment plan. Keep in mind the ACA requires this of hospitals. So sometimes patients are confused when they go to their local independent physician practice and don't have this same treatment or this same option available to them. It is not a requirement of physician practices to do this. It would be great if they all could, but unfortunately that's not a likely option simply due to the fact that physicians don't have access to the same resources from government entities that hospitals and large health systems do. So physicians just don't have that type of government funding to be able to provide financial assistance. Some do, out of the goodness of their heart and their own pocketbook, but some just can't afford to do it. Okay, next question. Charge capture assessment. So charge capture assessment ensures that we have 4 answers. Charges set for specific items result in maximum reimbursement. Healthcare organizations do not lose charges. Healthcare organizations are charging only for items that third-party payers recognize as legitimate, or none of the above. So our answer is healthcare organizations do not lose charges. And this is charge capture assessment is an important part of any organization, and you'll often see it focused on in the hospital setting. Charge capture, charge master, the whole charge master process, charge capture management, revenue cycle management is a huge element of hospital organizations, but it should be more focused on in the physician practice as well. There are oftentimes charges that are missed that could be captured and reimbursed by payers. And then on the hospital side, we've talked a bit about this week, there are some times where it seems hospitals have gone overboard. I know one of our colleagues in one of my two sections of this class talked about a pulse ox that was used to do vitals at the triage desk in the emergency department was charged separately, which is probably okay to do so, but it seems from a customer service standpoint to charge $25 for that pulse ox is it kind of stings when you see that on your bill, especially if you're being charged for it and your insurance isn't paying for it. So. But charge capture assessment is what picks up every single little charge like that to make sure that they're all going on the bill. So it's the whole purpose of that is to make sure anything that is costing the facility is making its way onto the bill. And our last question has to do with setting charges. So as all that we've looked at over the last couple of weeks, it may seem that organizations actually just pull charges out of a hat. It might seem like that, but there are actually methods that they use. So this question has to do with one of those methodologies. So using the blank methodology of setting charges, providers can set charges to break even, or even realize a gain. Our options are hourly rate, surcharge, RVU, or DRG. And our answer in this case was RVU. So the RVU method is really great for setting charges, especially in the physician practice setting or in those types of settings where we're talking about that type of work, physician work, because we're looking at work components, overhead components, and malpractice components, those things that go into an RVU. We talked about that a little bit last week. And in your book, I have it open here on page 175, it talks a bit about the RVU method. And actually it goes on to talk about some of the others, the hourly rate, the surcharge. But in that method, it talks about how it works well to either break even or to set the bar a little higher to be able to make a little money on each charge as you're setting them. So that is detailed in there. So those are our three questions. Those are the only three that it seemed from the system that folks got wrong. If you have any other questions on those questions, please let me know. You can leave a comment in here. I'll leave a box for that. But if you want a more immediate answer, I'll get to that when I'm grading these next week. But if you want a more immediate answer, please just send me an email, and I will be seeing everyone in the message boards this week. Thanks so much.